me first.
All right, guys. So tonight is August 1st. Crazy. And it is our team call where we get to hear from some of our amazing coaches that got to attend Summit in New Orleans just a couple weeks ago. They were flooded with a ton of information. Were able to attend some incredible seminars and parties and got to just enjoy being around some incredible people. And I wanted them to share with all of us some of their biggest takeaways from the experience, and just also share why it's so important for everyone to try to get to Indy next year. Next year it's in Indianapolis, like the second to last weekend in June. And I know some of you guys on here are new. Some of you have been around for a long time, but I know the girls will probably touch on this, but Summit is for everybody. It does not matter if you are a coach that enjoys the discount. It does not matter if you are a 15-star diamond. It is for everybody. And there are so many things that you can get from the experience and, from getting a little girl time or whatever it is. And so I'm really excited for them to share with us what all just really hit home with them that week. And I think we're going to kick it off with Renee.
Yes. So, Summit was absolutely amazing. And I just can't even describe it in words, because we got there the first time we got into the Superdome, and I was sitting with a friend, and it was actually a girl that's on our bigger team, Fit and Fierce, that I had never met in person. And when I was hanging out with her, and I was just in this huge, Superdome and seeing the stage, and I just lost it and just was oh my gosh, it just is so much more than just, working out and drinking a shake. It is about changing lives, and it's about, and I just thought of all of our challengers and how much they are always so open and honest and sharing their hearts and their struggles. And it just hit me, that what we're doing is really changing people's lives and changing their mindsets and their perspectives on what we do. It's not just about losing a few pounds or looking good in a swimsuit. It is a huge mental struggle with so many people. So that, that moment right there was just amazing for me. And then just being able to see everybody from the team and hug them in person, so much fun. You guys have to go to, if you're local, you have to go to the Portland Super Saturday, or any Super Saturday that's near you. Go to it, whether it's just you by yourself or take a friend. You don't have to be a coach to even go to those, because the community is just the biggest part of this, you guys. Plugging into the community and surrounding yourself and getting to listen to other coaches' stories and meet up with other coaches. It's just so cool and just an unforgettable, incredible experience. We got to listen to so many different speakers, so many different coaches' stories. And I am going to be talking about Darren Hardy's talk with us, and he's the author of The Compound Effect. And if you haven't read it, it's a great book. It kind of talks about how those small choices each day, compound into the things that happen in the future. It's those little choices that you do or don't make to move, your life forward, your business forward, anything that you do with your health, your fitness, your nutrition. All those small decisions that you make affect what happens in the future. And you might not notice tomorrow, and you might not notice in a week or a month, but come a year or two, it does make a huge difference. And so he said that there are 4 traps. The first trap is that results are invisible. So you might not notice, that chocolate cake that you ate today. You might not notice that it causes, a pound or 2 down the road. But if you're continuing to do that on a daily basis, or continuing to not message people and not invite people. You're going to notice that down the road when you kind of run out of people to talk to. So it's just those daily things that it's kind of those like mindless things that you do that you don't really think about at the moment, that really make a difference. They might not make a difference now and they're kind of invisible now, but you see that later down the road. And it's just those small, seemingly insignificant choices. Like you just don't think about it. It's not that big of a deal now, but then it catches up with you down the road. And then the second, I think there was, I don't know, I missed something, but immediate gratification. Like everybody wants something now. We always want it now. We don't want to wait. We don't want to be patient. Same thing with our health and fitness journey. When we start, we're like, I ate a salad. Am I skinny yet? I don't know if you said that, but I said that probably the first day I started. Like we want to know now, like when we do that first workout, okay, do I have that nice booty yet? Like we don't want to wait. We're impatient. That's just how we're brought up and how our minds work. And so knowing that mommy's on a call, honey. Okay, you go talk to daddy about it. Okay, bye. Sorry, mom life. Dad's supposed to be watching them. Fantastic job. Okay. Another thing he said, what gives you short-term pleasure gives you long-term pain. So like, again, coming back to that chocolate cake, like, oh man, who doesn't love chocolate cake? It's delicious. And that pleasure that you get of eating it is like immediate gratification, but then you regret it later because it gives you a stomach ache or it doesn't get you towards your goals. And then the same thing goes for what gives you long-term pleasure gives you short-term pain. Like, oh man, I really don't want to eat this celery right now, but I know that it's going to get me to that goal of being in my swimsuit or fitting in that shirt or fitting in that dress or, making sure my tummy feels better. So it's kind of a swap and it's so hard. And again, it's such a mental thing that you have to think about the long term. You always have to keep that long term in mind so that those short-term pains and those short-term things where you're just like, ugh, I don't feel like doing my workout. Ugh, I don't feel like eating healthy right now. Like all I want is a, ice cream bar. And so it's thinking about those, again, those seemingly small choices that really do make a difference in the long run. And then this goes with your health and fitness. This goes with your business. All that it takes to be successful is really easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. So, it's super easy. Messaging people, adding friends to your Facebook, shooting a couple invites out. It's easy to do once you kind of get over that fear, but it's also easy not to do and to push off and to say, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Oh, I'll do it the next day. And then it gets pushed off and pushed off. Same thing with your workout. Same thing with eating healthier. Oh, I had a crappy day and I'll eat better tomorrow. And so making sure that you are doing those things and following those goals that you have. Your behavior has to follow your choices. So, your choices turn into behaviors and those behaviors turn into habits. I didn't always used to love working out and there's still days that I don't love it, but it's just a habit now. I feel weird if I don't work out. I feel off. And, when I first started, I had to make myself get up and do it. I, had to tell myself, like I started with Insanity, which is insane if you've ever seen it. And they're long and they're hard and I wanted to throw up like every single time, but I also hated the way that I felt in my body. And so I was thinking of that, the short-term pain and the long-term pleasure. Like I wanted to look good in a swimsuit. I wanted to feel good about myself after having my second child. So when my second child was napping and I knew that was my only time to work out, otherwise I knew I'd skip it, I told my butt to get up and get my workout done. And so I just, you just have to get into that mindset. And then it slowly became a habit to where I just had to get that workout done every day. The other thing that he said is he had this really great analogy that if there was, if there were these two buildings and there was a high wire that went from one building to the other, and I told you I'd give you $20 to climb that building, go over on that high wire to get to the next side, would you do it? You know, for $20, what would you do it? What would the consequences be? Would it be worth the $20? Probably not. I don't know if I'd do that for $20. But let's say the building that you're in is on fire and you can't go down. The only way you can go is across. Would you do it then? So it's those consequences that you have to think about. And that kind of ties in to your goals and your vision. Thinking about what you want for your future. Again, that short-term pain for that long-term pleasure. One of the things that I wanted to have done, and of course I haven't gotten it done yet, but this is on my to-do list this week, is my vision board. And that is just having a board. You know, you can have a big piece of paper. You can have, Leslie has like a whole wall. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You could just have a piece of paper that says words on it that has your vision. But one of my visions is to be able to go to Hawaii every year with my boys and my husband, because that's where we got married. It holds a special place in my heart, and I want to take our family there on a yearly vacation because I love it there, and I just want to be able to get away and make memories and have fun. And you know, the beach there just has a place in my heart. So that's on my vision board. So what do I have to do to reach that vision? You know, I have to be messaging people. I have to be changing lives and reaching out to people to make sure that that's something that someday our family can afford to do every year. And if we can't do that, then what? You know, I'm going to be stuck in this burning building of, you know, being sad that I can't go to this place that I love and make these memories with my kids and my husband. Another thing is obviously like debt free for a lot of people is a huge thing. And I would love to be debt free someday. And so, you know, worrying about money and finances and things like that, that's not fun. And that's not a fun, you know, conversation to constantly have with your spouse. So thinking about that short-term pain, like, yeah, I don't want to stay up an extra half an hour tonight to be, you know, messaging people, but I also don't want to have, you know, an argument about our finances every other week before payday. You know what I mean? So thinking about kind of those consequences of those small daily decisions that you make, you know, what's worth it and what's not worth it? What are the consequences if you don't do these things, if you don't move your business forward? No, this is not all about money. It's about changing people's lives. But the financial part of it is definitely a huge opportunity. You know, when you are changing lives and you are reaching out to people and that is your main goal, the financial part comes with it. And it just, you know, comes along. So I think one of the other things, there's a difference between knowing the path and actually walking it. So we all know what we need to do. We all know that we should be inviting, we should be posting on our page, we should be getting our workout done, we should be talking to more people, adding people to our page, but are we actually doing it? And I'm guilty of not doing that sometimes. I'm guilty of not, you know, doing that every single day. And I'm sure, you know, all of us on here are guilty at one point or another. But we know what we need to do. It's just actually, you know, walking the walk and doing it. So, when we're talking, you know, to you in the group and we're reminding you to do these things, we're not trying to tell you because we know you already know. We're just trying to give you those reminders because we need them too as leaders. I need those reminders, like, you know, going to Summit or going to the Super Saturdays or getting on our team calls. Those are all huge reminders and huge ways to lift yourself back up and remind you to get those done. You know, to do those daily things that are going to get you to those goals that you want to reach. And then I think that's the gist of what he had said. Again, it just all comes down to your choices, the choices that you're making each day, the food you're putting in your mouth, the work you're putting into your business, you know, the personal development that you do, whether you choose to do that or not, all of those daily choices that might not seem like a big deal if you skip it today, will add up. if, you know, I notice a difference when I don't do my PD. I notice a difference when I'm not following my nutrition plan. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but a week or two later, I notice a difference. And so I always go back to kind of that checklist of what I need to do. So just keep your goals in mind. I know that a couple of us, I know Summer and I don't know if somebody else had posted in On Fire Empire their goals, you know, wrote them down. I know a lot of us have done that. Write them down, stick them on the fridge, on the wall in front of you where you see them every single day, and write them every single day. The more you write it, the more that it gets stuck in the front of your head rather than kind of toward the back. So goals, and then your vision, you know, that big vision of how you picture your life in the future and what you think you have to do for those short-term pain points to get you to that long-term pleasure. And that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Renee. I don't know if you guys have, like Renee said, have read his book, but it was the very first book that I read when I was like a week-old coach, probably, and it's very good. It's very straightforward, very simple, but it makes you think just about beyond business, just the actions that you take daily and how they're affecting you and those around you, and how it's going to affect your future. So I really encourage you guys to get your hands on that book and read it. And I'm pretty jealous that you guys got to hear him in person, but thanks so much for sharing that, Renee. I think Jordan is up next. You ready?
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, so just like my personal thoughts on Summit, I unfortunately had to leave a day and a half-ish early. My brother-in-law was getting married on Saturday, so I left on Friday. So I missed everything on Saturday. But just being there for the short time that I was, even like getting there Tuesday and getting to spend Tuesday and Wednesday with Logan, Renee, and Leslie, that was such an amazing experience for me, even completely aside from all these, you know, huge rock star people that I got to learn from on Thursday and Friday. It was just so good to get to hang out with them and actually get to spend time with the people that I've been looking at through my computer screen, you know, for a handful of months, to see them in person and to hug them and like actually hear their voice, not just through the computer. It really does make a huge difference in how you feel and how you think about what you're doing with these people. I actually was very blessed and fortunate and got to be a part of Summer Tucker's pre-summit training session. That was insane for me. Never in a million years did I think that I would be included in something like that. But like I said, very blessed and fortunate, and I was. It was a great learning experience for me, and it was crazy because like during the training, me and three of the other girls that were up on stage together, we got to like jump down and walk through the crowd because we gave them a little exercise to do. And I stopped at a table and this girl started talking to me, and she was just sobbing, telling me how she related to my story that I told, and like just like the impact that I made in the 5 minutes that I talked to her. And that made it real for me. That girl, she will never know what that did for me, but it hit me deep, like her telling me these things that she did, and just what I said, what it did for her. It was just amazing. So like Renee said, this is so much more than doing a daily workout and drinking a silly shake, as some people, you know, think it is. So much more than that. But okay, so my part, I'm going to talk about Brendon Burchard. He was one of the speakers that I actually got to hear. He talked about the 5 musts for motivation and success. So I'm just going to run through these and tell you a little bit about each of them. So number one, I must raise my ambitions and refuse to settle. Okay, so he talked about never limiting your vision of where you want to be based on where you came from. He told us about how he like grew up in this little tiny town in this kind of nasty house, you know, and now he's like this huge millionaire who is teaching people, you know, how to be successful and motivate them and get them moving, because he didn't hold himself back just because he came from kind of a rundown neighborhood. I mean, it's kind of those things like, this is where I came from, this is where I'm at, so don't ever stop believing in yourself kind of thing. He says it doesn't matter where you came from, it's where you're going, and you always need to remember where you're going, not where you came from, because it's just going to hold you back. And he said your ambition must rise above your yesterday. So I liked when he said that, because that's so true. Like, you know, I know I've told several people, you know, you fall 9 times, you pick yourself up 10. Like, if you failed yesterday, well, don't worry about it. You know, if you're blessed enough to have another day given to you, use it wisely and be ambitious and do the things that you need to do to be successful, if that's what you really want. If you come home from work and you just feel like being lazy and sit on the couch and watch 2 hours of TV, well, you have lost your drive somewhere during your day. You have lost your ambition and you have lost your drive. So you need to figure out what it takes to get it back and how you lost it and fix it the next day, to where when you come home from your 8-hour, 9, 10, whatever hour shift of work, you still feel like doing your workout. You still feel like being active with your kids. You still feel like, you know, working your business, because that's the only time that you have to do it. Number 2 is I must live each day with intention. So this one was big for a lot of people. This was like, out of the 5, this was like my number 2. I must live each day with intention. So the questions he told us that we need to ask ourselves every night before we go to bed: did I live, did I love, and did I matter? If you ask yourself those 3 questions and you say no to one of them, then you need to reevaluate what you did that day and how you're living your life. If you're doing something that you're not happy with, then figure out how to fix it. If you want to be successful with this business, you need to be doing your vital behaviors, and you need to be doing them every single day. You know, plug into the group, plug into someone's life, make it better, make yours better along the way. We're gonna, you know, we're helping not just ourselves, we're helping other people. So did I live, did I love, and did I matter? Number 3, I must no longer fear rejection. So a good example he gave of this was, like he asked everybody, you know, have you had 3 people in your life that like just did you dirty and did you wrong and like changed your life, but not in a good way? Like, raise your hand. Okay. So he kept going up. Is there 5? Do you have 5 people? Do you have 10 people? Do you have 20 people? And every time he kept going up and up and up, less hands followed. Okay. And so what he was trying to say was, if you have 10 people on your left that just did you wrong in your life, that's okay, because they made you who you are. But you need to look at your right side, at the thousands of people that love you and support you and are here for you and are here to help you. Because if you just did the math in your head, 1,000 is more than 10. Okay, so those 1,000 people on the right are totally gonna outweigh and knock the crap out of those 10 people on the left. Okay. So don't even worry about those 10 haters and those 10 naysayers on your left, because they, honestly, I'm going to be real, they're probably just jealous of you anyway. So it doesn't even really matter. So, you know, who cares? So I had something else, but now I don't know. Okay. Number 4, I must jump in and face my fear. So my personal example with that one is when Summer Tucker approached me and sent me a message asking me if I wanted to be a part of her training session. Am I frozen?
Now she is. Should we give her a second? She was just getting to the good stuff too.
Does anyone remember what she said number 4 was?
Number 4.
Number 4 when she got frozen.
Right, but she had like a title for it. Do you remember what she said?
Yes, I'll 1 second. It
Whoa.
is.
She's back.
I'm sorry. I don't know what happened.
It's okay.
I'll tell you what happened. My husband probably got on my damn internet upstairs. Okay. So anyways, so what I was saying is,
jump in and face my fear.
if I would have been fearful and not taken that step and taken that leap and, you know, just said yes to Summer, then I never would have had that learning experience. I never would have had the girl that told me I inspired her. I never would have had that if I would have listened to my fears and cowered down and tuckered down and not done that training session. Another example, Logan. If Logan would have been too fearful to share her story, too fearful to be actively coaching and telling the world what she's all about, she never would have found me. I never would have found her. And it is hard freaking telling where I would be right now if Logan would have listened to her fears and not done anything but be fearful. Okay? So you need to listen through your fears, because the difference between people who make millions and people who are on the sidelines, the only thing is that they didn't listen to their fear and let it hold them back. Like, they didn't let their fear hold them down, you know? They messaged people on a daily basis. They threw themselves out there. They posted transformation pictures. They invited people. They did all of those things that if you're fearful to do, it's going to hold you back, okay? Number 5, this is the one that hit me the hardest. 5 is must find something to fight for. When he started this one, I kind of lost it. Crying, you know, all that good stuff. Can you hear me? Ridiculous. All right. I hope you can. Anyway. So, what I fight for the most is my family, because I want to be the best that I can for my kids and my husband. So I want this to be successful, because Josh and I want to move. We want to get a new house, and I don't want to put that burden on his shoulders alone. I want to be able to help him. So I'm fighting every single day to achieve that so I can help him. So that's not, you know, like I said, this big burden that he has to carry by himself. He told a story of when he was first starting out. of him like up late working, trying to write his book, and his girlfriend came in quietly and like got underneath the sheets that were covered with bills and covered with like vision boards and all of this stuff all over his bed. And he said he turned around to look at her and he saw all of this stuff on top of her. And he said that was like a horrible feeling and a horrible thing that he had to witness, because he felt like he was putting all of those things on top of her all the time after that. Like, but think about it. That's like so true. You know, are you letting your fears take control to where it's putting your bills on top of your children, for example, or it's putting, you know, this on top of your children and covering up what you really want to do for your kids or with your kids. So that kind of hit home with me. And then he also talked about like working versus actually working. And he said that he would go to a coffee shop and sit there and he would just like pretend to type on his keyboard, but he would just be looking around, just like people watching basically. And while he was talking about, I was telling myself, I'm like, oh damn, I do that a lot. Like, I'll sit at my computer when I'm working, and what I'm really doing is just scroll Facebook newsfeed, like for real. So I made it a point when I came home to change that. So almost, I'm not going to say every day, but almost every single day since I have been home from Summit, I have been getting up 2 hours or 2 to 2.5 hours before my kids get up, and I have been working, not scrolling my newsfeed. I've been working. I've been messaging people. I've been inviting people. I've been working my business, not texting people to see if they're awake, because they're not going to be awake at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's just be real. Okay? But I'm working. You have to find time to do the things that you need to do because of what you're fighting for. I am fighting for my kids, so I'm going to sacrifice 2 extra hours of my sleep time so I can do the things that I need to do to make it better. Okay? I'm going to get up 2 hours early so I can help Josh buy a new house eventually. I'm going to do what I have to do because I know what I'm fighting for. So you have to figure out what you're fighting for, and you have to remember what you're fighting for. Don't forget what you're fighting for, because if you always remember what you're fighting for, this is not going to be hard for you. Okay? That is all I have.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jordan. And Logan is going to share his presentation on the page. Be sure and listen to it. It's when, or Leslie, somebody is, but sorry, getting distracted. But it is one that I have listened to since they have been home from Summit, actually twice. And it's an incredible presentation. He's great to listen to, and just the things that he says, just like Jordan said, you know, it just really hits home, and it really makes you think kind of twice about some of the choices you're making. And yes, he's freaking hilarious, I thought anyway. But anyway, so thanks, Jordan, so much. And Leslie, are you ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll try to watch the chat. Let me know if I like break up, because I know last time my internet was crappy, so I told my kids to get off the internet, but their dad's not here, so I don't know if they'll listen to me. And I apologize for picking up the phone call while you're talking, Jordan, but it was my son, and I couldn't not pick it up, as you know, so sorry about that. But, okay, I have to tell you guys that I've been hearing about Logan's trip to Summit for like a year, and her aha, like, big moment that she had at Summit last year. And that was the moment she decided like she was going all in, right? And she came back just like on fire, like just super passionate. And so I was excited to go to Summit, like obviously, but I kind of like didn't know if I was going to have that aha moment, you know, because I knew I was already all in. Like I was never going to quit. And I knew I had a strong why. You know, I knew why I was here. I was here to help women, you know, change their pain into power and to never feel powerless again. And I felt good about that. So I was kind of like not really expecting these big fireworks or this big like revolution. And I don't know. I don't think I really expected this big aha moment for me. Well, I couldn't have been more wrong. Okay. So I went to Summit, and it's funny because I think simple, ordinary moments are often like the moments that are the aha moments, right? Like when you least expect it. And for me, I had not just an aha moment. I had a pivotal moment, like a moment that I think will divide my life into before it happened and after it happened. Because I found a whole new why, you guys. A whole new why. It's a whole new reason for me to get up in the morning. It's a whole new reason for me to fight. It's a whole new reason for me to chase this dream. And it's a whole new reason for me to never, ever, ever quit. You know, we had the privilege of hearing from a motivational speaker. His name is Sean Harper, and he is this like super cool, big, like black guy, NFL football player, like, or ex-NFL football player. And he comes out on the stage and literally brings a frying pan with him, okay? And like within like 5 minutes of being on the stage, he rolls a frying pan into a burrito. Like, I'm not even kidding, with his bare hands, okay? So this guy's, like, super strong, and he's, like, just, you know, we love him, like, immediately, because how can you not love this guy that just rolled a frying pan into a burrito? He, like, ripped a phone book in half with his bare hands. I mean, this guy was, like, a total crowd pleaser, okay? So one of the things that he said, like, that he just emphasized, like, right from the beginning was that you should never, ever allow people to create your world, okay? So never, ever allow anyone else to create your world, because they will always create it too small. So think about this. When I signed up for Beachbody a year ago, how many times do you think I heard, "Be realistic, Leslie. That is a pyramid scheme. Do you really think you're going to make money doing this? Or even better, you are wasting your husband's money." Okay? Have you heard that one? Do you think that I was the only one that heard that? Do you think Renee heard it? Do you think Logan heard it? Do you think Haley heard it? We all have heard it, okay? Do you think the top 10 coaches heard it? They heard it more than we have heard it, okay? They heard it too, and I'm willing to bet that they heard it way more than us, because, you know, they had to face the, like, they've heard more no's than us. They've definitely heard more, like, resistance than us, absolutely, okay? But guess what? They didn't allow people to steal their dreams, and that's where people either quit or they keep going, right? That's the difference between people who make it and people who don't. They didn't allow people to steal their dreams. So one of the stories that he told us that I absolutely loved was a story about him playing college football. And he told a story about him out on the field, and he was making mistake after mistake after mistake. And pretty soon the coach just got so pissed off. He was like, "You know what, Harper? You're out of here. Just go to the locker room. You're done. I'm done with you. Don't come back. So he puts his head down and he walks to the locker room. He said, that's it. My NFL dream is gone. I've blown it. It's over. And then he thought, no, I can't leave. I know that I'm supposed to be an NFL football player. I can't leave. So he turns around and he goes back to the field and he stands next to his coach. And his coach says, what are you doing, Harper? I told you to get out of here. And he says, you can't make me quit. Harper, get out. I don't want you on my field. You can't make me quit. Whatever, Harper, stand there if you want. So the coach ignores him. They continue to run drills. Harper stands there. And I swear I can picture this, right? It's pouring as rain. I don't know why I picture it this way. I can just see Harper standing there, pouring rain, like the coach ignoring him. Harper standing like strong, just determined to not leave that spot. And the coach just continuing to tell him to get the hell off the field. And finally, the coach turns and says, Harper, you gotta get off my field. You're done. And Harper's screaming, you can't make me quit. And it just gives me goosebumps, right? So what does the coach say? Fine, get out there. Harper goes on and becomes an NFL football player. What if Harper would have gone to the locker room that day? What if Harper wouldn't have walked back out and stood firm in his dream? What if he would have let that coach steal his dream? What if he would have let that coach let him quit? I mean, how powerful is that? How often do we let people steal our dreams and tell us what we can and can't do? I mean, it's so incredibly powerful to me. Okay, so remember how I told you I found a new why, okay? I have another story for you. This is the last one, I promise. Okay, so this story is about a baby elephant. I know, just follow me. So there's a baby elephant in a circus. Well, there's an adult elephant in a circus with a chain wrapped around his foot. And there's a little boy and his dad sitting in the bleachers at the circus, and they're looking down at the elephant with the chain wrapped around his foot. And the chain's kind of small, for the big elephant. And so the little boy says, Dad, why does that elephant have such a little chain around its foot? That elephant's really big. Couldn't that elephant break that chain? And his dad says, well, you see, son, when that elephant was a baby, he pulled and pulled and pulled at that chain. And he tried with all his might to get out of the circus, but he wasn't strong enough to break the chain. And then he got older, and he got bigger. But as soon as he felt the pull of the chain on his foot, he stopped. Because he'd been conditioned to think that was as far as he could go. So even though now the elephant's grown, and he's big, and he could tear this circus apart, he thinks that that's as far as he can go. He's been conditioned. These are his limits. He doesn't know that he can pull that chain and tear this whole damn circus apart. His world has been created for him. And he's telling this story, you guys. And I literally have tears running down my face. Because I used to be that elephant. I spent 10 years in an abusive marriage, believing that that was all I was meant for, because I had been conditioned to think that that is all I was meant for. And so as I'm sitting there taking that in, it hit me even harder, like I needed that. Because then it wasn't just about me. Now it was about my son. Because you guys, I escaped the circus, but my son still goes there every other weekend. And now my son is the baby elephant. And my son has a chain around his foot. And my son is being conditioned to think he has little to offer the world. So talk about a pivotal moment. Talk about finding your why. Because now I have to show my son there are no limits. I have to show him, first of all, I have to fight for him. I have to show him that he can fight for his dream. I have to show all my kids that there aren't limits, that they can fight for their dreams. Because the world is going to try to show them that there are limits. And that's the truth. The world tries to show our kids. I mean, look at the world trying to tell us there's limits, that we can't chase our dreams. Because I want my kids to be able to stand on that field when the rain is pouring down and someone's trying to steal their dreams, to stand firm on that field and say, you can't make me quit. I had a lot of aha moments at Summit, and I had a pivotal moment at Summit, and I think we all did. But the bottom line is, guys, don't discount any moment in your life, because any moment could be pivotal. I truly believe that every single moment in my life has happened to me to lead me up to being right here, right now, on this call with all of you right now. So trust the timing of why you're here tonight on this call. I promise you it is for a reason, whatever that reason is. Harper says, we are not born winners, we are not born losers, we are born choosers. You get to pick. Okay? You get to pick. That's all I have.
Mic drop. Thank you so much for sharing, Leslie. I knew that you had a pretty incredible moment there. I had not heard any of the details yet, so I was really anxious to hear, and definitely got chills and tears, and I'm so excited for you, and so excited for all of us that heard that, because I know it sparked something in me, and I know it sparked something in a lot of these other ladies here. So thanks so much for sharing, and leading with so much heart as always. All right, we are going to close it off with Logan sharing her takeaways and a little bit from Summit with us.
Okay, so I'm actually going to start with more of my specific presentation that I'm talking about, and then I'm going to end with my takeaways. Mine isn't a super emotional one like a couple of the other girls. My presentation comes from one of our most favorite Beachbody personas ever, Chalene Johnson. And we had the privilege of listening to a training from her on social media. And I don't know about you guys, but if I want to learn about social media and what works and what doesn't work from anybody, I want to learn it from Shalene because she is the freaking guru when it comes to social media on every platform. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever it is. Like, if she's teaching it, like, you listen because, and she was straight up honest, and she came out and she said, listen, guys, I have to start off with giving you a disclaimer on this because what I'm about to tell you, the information that I'm about to tell you, your uplines might not be very happy with me. It might not be in accordance with Beachbody and how they share and kind of like encourage you to share on social media. But I have to tell you this because what was working in 2016 like a charm, attraction marketing, we've probably all heard about it. It doesn't work anymore. It makes people recoil. People go, ew. So she taught us what is working now. And I can promise you that I'm totally revamping the way that I do my social media because if Shalene tells you to do something, you do it. And next year when she gives us a new presentation on what's working on social media, I'm going to do that too. So she gave us 3 little like rhymes with like the main topics. So I want you guys to write these down so that you remember them, okay? So the first one is borrowed words are for the birds. Borrowed words are for the birds. The second one is don't tell me you're about to sell me. And number 3 is likes wear thin. Questions are what win. Likes wear thin. Questions are what win. So going back to the first one, borrowed words are for the birds. How many of you guys follow other coaches on social media? Anybody follow like some of the top coaches that have been in the business for like 3, 5, 7, 10 years just to like see what they're doing because like they're super successful and so what they're posting obviously like should be what's working, right? Well, the thing with those coaches is they already have a very huge established following. And, you know, they've been using attraction marketing for the last couple of years and it might still be working for them because they have a huge following. But if you're a newer coach getting into the business, and I still consider myself a newer coach because I haven't even been coaching for 2 years yet. If you're a newer coach getting into the business and you're trying to use the same tactics that some of these other like super established coaches are doing, it's not going to work because every other new coach out there is following these exact same people and we're all using the exact same phrases, the exact same type of photos, the exact same graphics. And when everybody does the same thing, what happens? It just turns into white noise. And you don't stand out. And that's what we want to do. That's why we kind of market ourselves different than other network marketing companies by sharing our stories and not just plastering our Facebook feeds with graphics and posters of whatever products are new and out. Like, we want to stand out. We want to be different. And like, even if you've been doing that, like up until now, like it's not too late to change. Like, just make a decision that tomorrow you're going to start doing it a little bit differently. Because what we want to start doing is using not attraction marketing, but we want to use curiosity marketing. We want people to wonder what we're doing. We want people to wonder what we're using. So say I do Shift Shop and I have a fantastic like 3-week transformation. and I want to share it on my page. Rather than specifically saying the words Shift Shop, Beachbody, Shakeology, referencing the nutrition plan and all of these, like basically telling them step by step exactly what I did to get these results. I want to say something more along the lines of, I never imagined that I would have the confidence to share a photo of myself like this or wear an outfit like this and share it on social media with everybody. But thanks to an at-home workout program and some amazing support from my tribe and a simple meal plan, I got into the best shape of my life, and I'm not going back. So what's the difference between those two posts? When people see things like Shift Shop, Shakeology, and they wonder like what, and they think like, oh, I wonder what that is. Where's the first place they go to look it up? They're not going to ask you. They're going to go straight to Google. And Google's going to take them straight to the Beachbody website. And they're going to be like, oh, this Shift Shop looks cool. I could probably do that. And they order it. And then they're done. And then they message you a year later and they're like, Logan, gosh, like I could never thank you enough for sharing your 21-day fix results. Like I've been doing 21-day fix for the past 6 months and I've lost like 50 pounds. And I'm just like so thankful that you shared that, all that time ago. I have no idea that they're doing it. They're doing it without me. They didn't order it through me. They're not in my accountability group. Like I haven't been giving them the support for the last 6 months because I gave them all the information in my post and they went and ordered it and I had no idea. On the other hand, if I'm a little bit more mysterious about it, they have to ask me like, oh my God, girl, what'd you do? And then we take it into a private message and we talk about it. You just want to leak out the details. Even something as simple as like, my lipstick. I'm not like actively promoting lip scents all over my pages, but like even just like having in my Instagram stories, like, oh my gosh, this is just my favorite shade of lipstick these days. Do you know how many questions I get with, oh my God, girl, what are you wearing? What color is that? My mascara. I do that all the time with my mascara. And people ask me, like people are like, girl, I'm on my way to Ulta. What is that mascara that you get? Like I get those questions multiple times a week from people wanting to know. And so that's just like good little conversation starters. It doesn't have to be like just specifically about, about like Beachbody, but just anything to generate conversation. I posted I posted a post about like Levi was getting ready to start Harvest. And so I went to Starbucks because I'm like, I'm gonna need all the coffee to like get through this day. And thank goodness I found a drink that not only like gives me energy to get through the day, but it doesn't completely destroy my waistline like those Ice Vente extra caramel macchiatos used to do that I used to drink back in the day. You know how many questions I got with people asking like, oh my gosh, what do you drink now? Like, what is it that's healthy that I can drink at Starbucks? Because people don't know. And it's just like an easy way to start conversations with people on the side. You don't want to leak all the information down into the comments. Because once people feel like they know all the information, they're not interested anymore. Or they can go to Google and take it into their own hands. You don't want to lead with the company. You want to lead with you. So just be chill, be mysterious, draw some curiosity. I am thinking about taking, because I have like on my page that I'm, like a premier coach at Beachbody. And I've been thinking about how to do that, because if I take off, like if I remove it, is it going to say like Logan's no longer, like, is it going to like put in a newsfeed that like Logan is no longer like at Beachbody? Like do you know, Haley? Yeah. I'm going to try and figure that out, because I have wondered if people like look at my page, because the first thing you do, like when someone friend requests you, what do? You go stalk their page, right? Before you accept their friend request.
And I changed it from, because I think it said like, Beachbody coach or Team Beachbody coach at, Renee C. Sullivan. And I changed it to just coach. And it didn't do anything, because I thought about that too a while back. because I had friend requested a girl who we had like swim lessons together for our kiddos, and a friend requested her, and she was like looking at my page while she was with me, and she was like, oh, she's like, Beachbody coach? And I was like, yeah, that's me. And then she's like, oh, okay. And she just kind of laughed, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna go change that right now. Because it's true, like people look and stalk your page, and if they see, like one of the things Jillian said, if they see you going like this with your shake,
Yeah, I'm getting to that.
and they're gonna be like,
Yeah. So your like job description is a great place to link your like page. And if your like page is not already linked to your personal profile, then let us know so that we can help you figure out how to do that. Because so like mine says CEO at Logan M. Underwood. So anybody that, comes to my personal page, sees that as my job, and people are curious, right? They're like, oh, I wonder what that is. And so they click and they end up over on my like page, and then they can figure out more about what I'm doing. But people are curious. People are nosy. Like, they're not just no one's going to message me and be like, what does that mean you're CEO at Logan Emma? No, they're just going to click and do their little like creeper thing like I do. We're all creepers. Like, that's how we all found each other mostly, right? Like social media creeping and stalking. And so just like leave a little mystery and a little curiosity. And if you're using Instagram, do not use hashtags that are going to attract other coaches that other coaches are using. Don't use hashtags like Beachbody Coach, Shakeology, even like Fit Mom, anything, 21 Day Fix, Shift Shop. Don't use those kind of hashtags to try and attract customers, because only coaches know those hashtags, and you're just going to attract a whole bunch of new customers. So then when you post about your like upcoming accountability group and you get these messages of people wanting to join, you have to be like, well, are you already a coach? Oh no, sorry, you can't be. Are you a coach? Are you a coach? Who here is not a coach? Raise your hand if you're not a coach or working with a coach. Okay, cool. I'll talk to you. No, like that kind of thing. So when you go back, don't tell me that you're about to sell me. So this is like included in the mystery type of thing, because we don't want to feel like we're being sold something, like if I get a friend request from someone and like I accept it, and all of a sudden there's a message in my inbox and they're like, hey girl, have you ever tried? And I'm like, yeah. Or like, I get messages like that. Hey girl, have you ever tried the number one, like lip gloss or premium skincare, whatever? And I'm like, and usually, you know what, a majority of the time, like I use that. Like I use Unique makeup. I use Rodan and Fields on my face. I use Lip Sense on my lips. And so I can tell them like, oh my gosh, yeah, girl, like you have an amazing product and I love it. One of my best friends sells it. But thanks for thinking of me. But like you immediately kind of get that like, oh, like you only friend requested me to try and sell me something, Or when I get a new follower on Instagram and I go to check out their page, and immediately the first thing I see is like them with their like It Works little cleanse bottle or something like that. I'm like, like I'm not going to follow them back, because I know that it's just like I feel like I'm immediately like they're trying to sell me something, even though they could be like super nice. Like, I don't know. We just have to do it a little different. That's just the way social media is. You just want to come at them like at a different angle. We want to draw their curiosity. We want them, we just need to build their curiosity. It's just taking a different approach to how you share the lifestyle. Leak out information to get more questions on your page. And then the last one, likes wear thin, questions are what win. How many of you guys pay like uber attention to the number of likes that you get on your posts? or like how many new followers you get, or like how many of you are like, oh my gosh, I got like 20 new followers today or something like that, or my like page is up to like 900 followers now. Like it doesn't matter unless those people are like actually interested in engaging with you and talking with you about what you have. Like the number of followers and likes and everything does not matter. So stop counting and keeping track of how many followers you get and how many likes you get. Try and track instead. Go for tracking how many questions you get on your post. That's what Shalene said. Stop counting. She said, how long did she say to do that for? For like a week? Like to track not how many new likes or how many new followers you get, but how many questions you get on each post, because that is going to get your stuff showing up in news feeds, because it means people are engaging, and it means people are curious and they want to know what you're doing and they want to know more about you. And then, so you take the question off of the page, like to answer it either into a direct message in Instagram, or, you know, a private message or a text, or get them on the phone, or whatever you need to do.
Can I touch on that for just a sec, Logan?
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that, but reply to the comment.
Yes.
With a genuine response, because then they're like, oh, this person's real, and other people will see it, and it pushes it back up into the newsfeed. So don't just like it and then send them a message. Answer their question short and succinct, maybe leaving out details. For example, somebody asked me when I started working out after I delivered today, well, after Weston, and instead of going into detail saying, well, I waited, you know, then, and then I did this, and then I did this, I answered, I said, obviously chat with your doctor. Everybody's different, but I waited 6 weeks. That's what I commented on my post. And then I still messaged her and I said, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. You know, are you currently pregnant? Like, I started a conversation with her and we chatted about more in detail. So I still answered on the post, pushing it back up into news feeds, but then went more into detail on messages.
Yes. And she answered it in a very appropriate way, because you do not want to answer it with, can I send you more details, or can I PM you details, or I'll PM you details, or I'll message you details. Because when I see like someone's post like that, like, you know, a bunch of people asking, you know, someone posts some, you know, the new thing out there is this like ketone,
the unicorn drink.
Yeah. Yeah. The ketone crap that everybody's drinking. And, you know, so there's like 20 different questions saying like, oh my gosh, what is it? And every single response is, I'll PM you details. But all that tells me is, you're selling something, you know? So answer, you know, as succinctly as you can without giving away all the details, and then carry it over into a private message to deepen the conversation. Does that make sense? Anybody have questions about that? Okay. Because Shalene said the two phrases that are not working at all this year in 2017 are, can I send you more details? Because people are like, no, you just got icky. And, hey girl, have you tried? No, yuck. People do not want to, like, you see those two little phrases like at the start of a message and you're instantly kind of like, ugh. I don't know. At least that's me. So going back, borrowed words are for the birds. Don't tell me you're going to sell me. Likes wear thin. Questions are what win. Okay. So here's the thing. Like, we are all unique. We are all different. And that is what makes each of us such a successful coach, because we do not all want to be carbon copies of each other. Because I am here to reach the Logans. Haley's here to reach the Haleys. Leslie is reaching the Leslies. Shayna is reaching the Shaynas. Kelsey's reaching the Kelseys. Jennifer is reaching the Jennifers. Okay? There are so many damn people in this world that are not all going to relate to me. They're going to relate to everyone. I mean, me, Leslie, and Renee, people are like, how do all three of you like be successful coaches in such a small town? I mean, guys, like the three of us, like we've all been coaching together for over a year in the same small town. You look at our Facebook profiles, we all have hundreds of mutual friends. And we all still hit Success Club every single month. We've all built incredible, like booming businesses. We have a lot of mutual friends that, like, I have a lot of mutual friends that sign up with Renee and Leslie because they've, you know, just related to one or more of their stories. But it doesn't matter. Like, we're all, like, there's so many people out here in the world that each of our individual stories are going to touch. So don't feel like you don't have a story to tell. Don't feel like you don't have a story to share, because your story is going to impact the right person, okay? I had no idea that my story was going to reach Jordan all the way out in Illinois. I don't know how it did. I don't know how it found her. I don't know how she found me. She found me because her mom followed Megan Ewaldson, who's our upline, and Jordan somehow found my page through Megan when Megan and I were on a retreat together. I mean, and look at her now. Like, and she could have signed up with Megan, who's a 15-star top 10 number 3 coach in Beachbody, but she related to me and she reached out to me to sign when she was ready to sign up. Thank goodness. And it just goes to show like how everybody, we all have such an individual gift to share and to give, and you cannot hold yours back because your story is too important, and your story is going to be the one that touches somebody and changes somebody else's life. So you don't need to be outstanding. You just need to be able to stand out. Okay? You don't need to be outstanding. You just have to stand out. So follow these little tips to make sure that you stand out on social media so that we don't blend in with every other network marketer out there and become white noise. We want to stand out because we have something special to give the world. So now I'm going to talk just a little bit about my takeaways. I'm going to try to keep this short because I know that we're already like way over. But last year was my first summit, and I went to Summit. Haley had to talk me into it because I was terrified. Like, I'd never met any of these people in real life before. And, you know, the thought of flying across the country, like by myself, like I hadn't traveled without my husband before. It was going to be the longest that I had ever left my kids. And like, I was freaking terrified. And, you know, it's a financial investment. And I knew that I loved Beachbody, and I knew that I was doing great as a coach. I was a 1-star diamond, you know, like I didn't have doubts about what I was doing with the business or anything. Like, the business had changed my life. But I still had this like incredible aha moment at Summit. You know, the first night, being able to walk out on the stage, like across the field with all of the other new 1-star diamonds, and I got to wave my little 1-star flag. And I remember looking out like into the stadium, and there was like 23,000 coaches there, and just thinking to myself, like, where I was last summer, where I was at home every day with the 2 babies, and Levi was in Harvest, and I was like 15 pounds heavier than what I wanted to be from like baby weight from Luke still, and so miserable and so exhausted and so ashamed of the mom and wife that I was letting myself turn into, because I was literally just living life like it is what it is. Like, this is my life now. Like, my husband is just gone, you know, these like several, you know, I don't get to see my husband anymore. Like, my kids just like, I'm just exhausted because the baby's not sleeping through the night. And so I'm just going to be one of those moms that just like sits on the couch, and my kids just have to like play or like, you know, be on the iPad or whatever. And I was so ashamed that I was letting myself like turn into this mom that like wasn't even letting myself enjoy my kids and this like incredible, beautiful life that I had. Of course, I painted on social media that everything was perfect and beautiful. Nobody really knew like the struggle that I was going through. And so then to fast forward a year and to be walking out on stage being celebrated by over 20,000 people for this like amazing accomplishment that I had done in the last year, it was such a 180, and I just had tears running down my face. And I was like, how did I get from that just like depressed and broken person to here? Like with all these people cheering me on and celebrating me and loving me, and they don't even know me, like, but that's like what Summit is. Like, it's just a family, and everybody loves you and celebrates you. And it was just this like aha moment of like, how did I get from there to here? Obviously, like through this amazing opportunity. And if this can happen in 1 year, how can this change my life in 2 years or in 5 years or in 10 years if I just keep going, like if I don't quit? And I had that why not me moment when I see those incredible coaches up on stage whose lives have been completely transformed, like physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. Their families are secure. They've created this incredible legacy for their families and for generations down. And they've touched they've had this incredible ripple effect across hundreds and hundreds of people. And I'm like, if they can do that, like, why not me? I can do that too. So rather than thinking like, well, that's great for them, like, you know, there must be something cool or something different that they're doing. No, I had that why not me moment. And it was, you know, the night of the closing ceremonies, and we got to sit kind of down on the floor because Megan was getting recognized as a top 10 coach on the stage and everything. And I remember seeing all these coaches actually getting to walk like on the big stage, the elite coaches and the premier coaches and the top 10 coaches. Any coach that was 5-star and above got to walk across the big stage, not just down on the field in like a big group. And I remember telling myself, like, I'm going to get up on that stage someday. And I cannot wait. Like that, just like, I'm a Sapphire. If you haven't done the gem test, like that kind of thing just like lights me up. That recognition that like, you're awesome, you know? And in 1 year, like I was on that big stage as a premier coach this year. And I stood up there with 46 other people out of almost 500,000 coaches in the network. And that was surreal. It was surreal. And I still haven't like totally like processed it. And, you know, my shoes like barely even strapped because my cankles were so big at that point in the weekend. But like I got to stand up there and be recognized by the top people in Beachbody and look down like right in front of me and see coaches like Melanie Mitro and Amy Silverman and like sitting there clapping. And I'm like, oh my God, like they're like looking at me. Like, this is just like, how did I get here? How did I get here? How did I get from that like broken, shattered mom to, you know, walking across the field to being on the big stage? Where can I be next year? Where can I be in 5 years? Like, and my husband is going to be there with me next year. He's promised me he's going to be there with me next year because it's so important to me that he gets to see that, because you know, he always watches the live streams like without telling me, and, you know, texts me that he's so proud and stuff. But to actually like have him be there in person is just, that's going to be the thing that like means the world to me. Yeah. And he has to come watch the baby in Indianapolis, because we're going to have another, you know, nugget that's going to be pretty attached to me at that point. So, and to just be there and have 3 of like the most important girls in my life there who weren't there last year, who, when I was there the year before, I just kept thinking, God, I wish Leslie and Renee were here to hear this. And then this year they were there and Jordan was there. And, you know, I kept thinking to myself of all the other people, like, God, I wish, like, you know, naming off all of you, wishing you were there, because it's such a life-changing experience. And you can't really put it into words until you're there to actually soak it in yourself. So just do what I did and make the commitment that you're going to be here a year from now and you're going to be there in Indy, because the only way to fail at this business is to just quit doing it. You just have to keep going. It's like my transformation photo that I posted tonight. It takes 4 weeks for you to notice your body changing. How many people give up in, like, you know, the 2 to 3 week range? Because that was always me. Whenever I started anything, if I wasn't seeing results by week like 2, 3, I was done. It wasn't working. It wasn't quick enough. But I just decided that this time was going to be different. It takes 4 weeks for you to notice your body changing. It takes 8 weeks for your friends and family, thank you, to notice your body changing. And it takes 12 weeks for the rest of the world to notice. And it takes 1 day for you to decide that you're worth it and to start. And then you just have to keep going. So commit to starting and be here a year from now. Do the things. We have the recipe laid out, exactly what you have to do. And you're going to completely transform your life, physically, mentally, emotionally, and financially. And who doesn't need those 4 things in their life? It solves a lot of problems, those 4 things. Saves a lot of marriages, makes for a lot of happy kiddos. It changes a lot of problems, and it saves a lot of lives. So I hope that this call got you guys fired up. I hope that you took away some great nuggets. I hope that we will see all of your faces in Indianapolis. I'm so excited we're going to Indy because, you know, as fun as New Orleans was, it stank like so bad and the food was amazing. But like, I'm super excited that we're going to be a little bit more low key in Indy.
It's so funny because when people ask me like, oh my gosh, how was New Orleans? And I'm like, the like actual trip was amazing. The town itself was disgusting, but the experience was cool.
Renee and I got mauled by a homeless man.
That was not cool.
We have lots of stories to tell. So yeah, Indy would be fun.
Great trip.
Guys, literally, we already have rooms booked and everything. We're ready for you guys. So
yeah,
with the commitment, it's gonna be amazing.
And go to those Super Saturdays. They have them quarterly. They're every 3 months. Go to one. Like, I don't care if you have to go by yourself. You'll find friends. Like,
the next weekend is like September 23rd-ish. Yeah.
But if you go to Super Saturday, times that by like 1,000 billion.
Like the first, I don't think we've missed one, Leslie, since we started coaching. Like, we've been to every one, and yeah, maybe we missed one, but I mean, we've been to, I think, 3, and they're so fun. And like the live workout is so awesome. You feel so badass and you like push yourself harder, even though you're like, you know, working out real close with people, but it's so fun. They have them everywhere, Brittany, like all over the country. So if you go onto the Eventbrite or even just Google like Super Saturday near your area, there should be one. Any coach can actually hold a Super Saturday. You just have to like register, and I think, I don't know if you have to have a certain amount of people that come or whatever, but.
Do you have to be Emerald? I think maybe you have to be Emerald.
No.
Not even Emerald.
I have to say that like when I first went to my first Super Saturday, I was like nervous because like I had like just kind of started, and I was like, 40 pounds overweight, and I was like, I don't want to work out in front of people. Like, this is gonna be really embarrassing, and I'm like out of shape, and like, everybody's gonna be fit, and this is gonna be embarrassing your day. And Renee's like, you're gonna be fine, you know. And like, we went. There were so many people of like all shapes and sizes, and everyone was so encouraging, and it was so fun. Like, just the environment, you can't explain it. Like, it's so encouraging, and that's just how Beachbody is. Like, that was my first like taste of that, and it was amazing. So don't be afraid. Like, it's awesome. So anyways, we should go. We're going here a long time.
Okay,
That was like the best call though.
it was
I'm excited to watch it over again.
Yeah.
So like I said in the beginning, I encourage you guys to go get your tickets, commit to it. There's always the possibility, what do we say? There's always a money back guarantee.
Yeah.
There really is. Yeah. If something comes up, you get pregnant, things happen. There's no, no money loss. But so I wanted to just add that serious FOMO was happening while they were there. But I did sit on the couch and enjoy watching the opening ceremonies and the closing ceremonies. And my biggest takeaway from my couch was just how much I love this company, how much I love Carl and his heart and how much he puts into it. And just the fact that I feel like, and this was from me being in Texas on my couch, watching this online, just that reminder that Beachbody is so much more than looking good at the beach, right? It is so family focused. They are so focused on making people bring health and fitness into the home and being that example for your kids and for your spouses and for your friends and family that are close by, and just how cool that is and how he focuses so much on really changing people's lives from the inside out. You don't hear him get up there and say, our Shakeology sales last year were this, our Challenge Pack sales last year were this year, this is our goal. Never, ever, ever, ever have I heard those words come out of Carl's mouth or any of our other corporate mentors and leaders, because they truly care about other people and they care about us. I mean, you guys, it's an incredible company and they had something great, but it became so much greater when they added the coaching aspect to it, and they care about our success. And I hope you guys feel that from me, from Logan, from the leaders on this team, from Megan, from our upline, all the way up to Carl. I hope you guys feel that and you know how special of a place we are in. This is not just another MLM. This is not just another side job. This is truly changing lives, the lives of ourselves, our family, and the future generations. And I hope that you guys realize what you are a part of. And more than anything, be proud of that and be proud to share what it is doing for you. So those were my takeaways from my couch, but I will be there next year and I hope you guys are too. And it was a long call. Thanks for hanging out with us. It was super important. And I hope you guys took away from it as much as I did. So thank you guys for going to New Orleans and representing our team and bringing back all these amazing nuggets that I know you're going to continue sharing, because there's a lot I know that y'all are wanting to pass on. So thanks guys. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it. I hope you have a great rest of the evening. See y'all later.
Bye.